Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Lisa Sonni, Relationships Uncensored. And I have a completely different format for my first episode because I want to talk about healthy love after abuse. I constantly hear from my clients that you just never want to date again or that they have no hope that they could ever meet someone. And so I thought, who better to talk about meeting someone and being in love and healthy love after abuse than my man, Mr. Jamie Eckford. So I know it's not normal for us to be in this format, having a conversation in this way on the internet.
Been talking about it for a while, and I guess you finally got me here.
I finally did. Yeah. So many people have questions, though, for me about how did you ever trust him? How did you tell him that you were in an abusive relationship and all that? And it's terrifying. I was terrified. I still remember, because it's a normal question, like, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, what do you do for a living? And I was like, I'm a relationship coach and I talk about domestic violence and, because like I have personal experience. I was so nervous to tell you. Do you remember what your reaction was? Do you remember?
Well, it was a long time ago now, but honestly, I had been through so much in my life that anything that was going to come my way, I felt like wouldn't surprise me. And that, I'm there to be able to handle anything. So it didn't
faze you.
No.
It takes a weight off. I was so nervous at the time. I thought that because I heard this before, that if you tell someone that you've been abused before, then they're like, so I can get away with that. I can treat you badly.
I get the terrifying part, but then also I have been in many abusive relationships, so I can relate to that.
Yeah, I didn't expect that, obviously,
because
I know
from a man,
Yeah, like it's given what I talk about too, right? I talk about abusive men. Not that I don't know that women can be abusive too. It's just not what I talk about. So, but it was interesting, learning even from your perspective what men go through. But it was a very nerve-wracking thing to kind of get to know you. And one thing that I get asked, like I would say the number one question is, especially when we first started and I was talking about you online, people were like, how do you know he's not a narcissist? Oh my God. Okay, so truth, in the beginning, I used to say to you all the time, are you real?
Yeah.
You can't be real. That went
And
on
I
for
used
months.
to laugh all the time. And I'm like, all right, in my mind, I would just, like, I get it. She's been through a lot. And, once that trust is broken toward men, and because I had a wall, you didn't know yet, but I had my own wall up because of the abusive relationships and stuff that I went through. So I totally was understanding and getting it. And
You got annoyed though a little bit. Like towards the end, it was like, okay, listen, what do I need to do?
Yeah, because I was like, how do I get past this part? Because, but I get it. It's sometimes you think that this is too good to be true, but I knew what I was looking for and I knew what you were looking for.
Yeah. Was it hard though, like dating somebody who's got triggers? And you have your own, I get it. But my triggers, what about me made you be like, man, like, when's she going to get past this? Like, one thing I think of is asking for help. Every time I struggle to do something and you're like, dude, babe, ask me.
I found it funny in a way because I get it. Because at that point, I still haven't really known you and I'm getting to know you. But in my mind, I'm like, all right, I get it. She's been hurt by maybe not just one man, men. So it's like, fuck men. And I could agree because there's some shit men out there. And what it takes to be a real man, it takes real work. And they don't want that. So
yeah,
I just had to just let it slide. And I'm like, eventually she's going to see and just get it that if she asks for help, that's what I want to do.
Right. I know. Actually, that was hard for me, though, is realizing that you want to, because where I come from, right, my background, you ask for help and you're like met with, God, you're lazy. You're like, man, you can't do anything for yourself. You can't lift that. What are you, the Queen of Sheba? It was like constant like digs and picking at me. But when I ask you for help, like in the times, and I tell you, it's like, oh, I have to ask for help. I hate this. But every single time you help me.
And again, I want to, because I came from toxic relationships where I was literally doing everything. And then to be asked for help, I was like, wow, all right, I get to be a part of this relationship, not just feeling like I'm doing everything. I got to do this. And then when you ask me, hey, babe, can you help me with this? Hell yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, being excited for that, like that like almost chokes me up.
Yeah,
like
even to this day. I know there's still there's still times where I'm like, you could just ask me.
And I'm like, no, I'd rather struggle. I would rather
that's
struggle.
The beauty of getting to know each other and get to know somebody, then eventually building that trust. I know, because I had the same issues. And I think once you started to realize that, hey, this guy's been through some shit too. So maybe I can just
Yeah.
calm down. And he's still here.
Yeah, I know. You wake up every day, he's right there beside you. I think, something that I have said a lot is when you are in a relationship with someone after an abusive relationship, after a toxic relationship, there's so much healing to be done in it. I've been told so many times that like you can't date until you're completely healed. But if that were the case, we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met you. You wouldn't have met me. You know what I mean? Like both of us have triggers and trauma and pasts. I don't think that healed is a thing. I think that you're healing and
Yeah,
you've healed me.
I don't think anybody can walk around saying they're completely healed. I mean, the world we live in is so damaging to begin with, right? And everybody you come by. So to say that you're healed, I mean, I don't know, because you're constantly learning and adapting to life, and people change. And being able to be in a relationship and learn to understand each other, yes, you help heal each other. You've helped heal me and helped me grow into the man that I am today, and you being nervous about the relationship coach and all that, it actually inspired me to want to help people and save lives too from addiction and change their lives, because that's what I did.
Uh-huh.
And it's inspirational. I look up to you. I tell you that.
And it's like really weird to hear that, even though it's so nice to hear that, because usually it's like, you're a woman, like, what do you know?
Well,
That's why I get known for being a man hater online. I actually remember one of your coworkers, you were like, oh, I'm dating someone, blah, blah. And like, you must have said my name or whatever, or something about me being online. And he was like, dude, did you see this? Do you not? Dude, she hates men.
She hates men. I remember that. And I'm like, oh, she doesn't hate me. I mean,
that's what I'm literally like, no. I hate men.
Yeah.
Don't confuse that with I hate my man. I love my man.
Yeah. But then, I remember that clearly. And then I was like, wow, she doesn't hate me. And then I'm like, thing is, she's not talking about real men. She's talking about little boys that call themselves men that don't even realize what it actually takes to be in a healthy relationship and to have a woman.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean, like a woman, like, it actually, you're reminding me of this thing that men say. And I know you're not like perpetually online the way I am, but you know that table, what does she bring to the table?
Yeah.
You hear that? And women say, and I gotta tell you, like, I'm 100%, I am the table. That's how I see it. But I always feel like the men that ask that question, which to me would totally be your coworker, but what women bring to the table, to me, like, it doesn't need to be said. If you don't understand what a good woman, I'm not like, again, there are bad ones, but what a good woman can bring to a relationship, to me, it's immeasurable. I would love to have a wife. I would love to have a good woman.
Wow, don't make me nervous.
I mean, I don't swing that way. I sometimes, I used to wish that I did, but then I met you. No, but women bring something so healing to relationships. That whole, you take a house, make it a home, take food, ingredients, make it a meal. That's what women can do. And it's reciprocal. This idea that women are reciprocal, I sit there and I think about who I was in any other relationship, and I wasn't this. I don't know what this is, but you've said this before, like, were you like this with anybody else? It's like, no. I feel like nobody could say they know me. This is more me than I've ever been. You inspire that, I guess. There's something, people say that if you are with the right man, and I suppose the right woman, but you get to be yourself. And I don't know if I subscribe to the whole, your masculine energy and your feminine energy, but I know that I'm assertive, code for aggressive, assertive. I know that I have really strong opinions on things, and that can be I don't know, abrasive, or I'm sure how I look online. But what's so nice is I can just come home and be like, baby, can you help me? I can be me. Just, it's so peaceful and relaxing.
And I think that's one of the most important things in a relationship is being yourself. And I think, I'm no expert like you, but I think a lot of people, they get lost in that, and you don't end up having that partnership. You have to find and build your best friend. Like when you're getting to know somebody, and if it's not right, I mean, yes, so many relationships you get into, I get it. It's like, that's why at the beginning you're like, are you real? Are you real? Because you want to be on your best, at your best behavior. You want to be on point about everything because you want this person to like you. But ultimately at the end, you can't become somebody else to please that person, because then you're no longer who you are in that relationship. You're doing it to make that person happy. And that's just a snowball effect, just like any other thing in life that's negative, right? It
Yep.
just goes on. And then you're further and further away from your true self just to make this relationship work, make this person happy. And they're still not fucking happy. So
That's
then
what they
you're
say.
in
You're
that-
keeping the peace, but like, whose peace are you keeping?
You're keeping somebody else's peace. Meanwhile, you're destroying yourself mentally. And then eventually everything falls apart because you started off not being your true self.
It's a performance.
Yeah. And that's what, I mean, what do people do when they go for a job interview, right? And they meet a person for the first time. They get all done up. They get dressed to the nines, right? And they put on their best show. And that's unfortunately what a lot of people do when they meet, is they put on a show. They put on their best behavior. They're pulling out chairs, opening doors, and all this manners. And then once they become comfortable and realize that, oh, now I'm in a relationship and there's my woman, all of that goes away. And if all of that goes away, you should go away.
Agreed. There's the door.
Why stick around if you're no longer, and it happens that quick, right? Why stick around? That's what I've learned. Because for me, I grew up in so much toxic relationships and lifestyle that it felt normal to me. And it wasn't until meeting you and falling in love and having this life and learning what true love feels like, and learning to understand, all right, right now she just needs to vent. And it's my response or my reaction is what would help you. If all of a sudden you come and you're stressed out and you want somebody to vent to, and I'm like, I've had a shit day. Now I gotta, all right.
Yeah.
So they're not even there. And then people, they stay because nobody else wanted them to begin with before. That's why they were single, right? And then they do it all again. And they think that they're a big bad man and I got this. You ain't got shit.
They think that they get you. Like, and
That's what
not all men, but so many think that they can kind of like woo you and pull out all the stops, and they really listen and, oh, you're a relationship coach, tell me more. And then when you actually are in it, having day-to-day life and regular conversations, the checkout is there. And it's like, what are we doing here? There's a creator online, Texas Garden Fairy, and she said, love bombing doesn't work on me because as soon as the love bombing stops, I'm gone. And she said that maybe a year ago, but I have felt that way. She worded it better, but I felt like right from the get-go, when I started to date again, I was like, I got to tell you, I'm coming up with this plan now, and I'm going to hold myself to this, that I'm going to date a good man or go away. And I went on some horrendous dates. I remember swapping date stories with you, but I still remember.
Mine with you, yeah.
Oh man, I mean, we could a whole friggin' episode on just that alone. But I do remember telling you one where I went on a date with someone and he was like, oh, so if I was your kid's stepdad, and I was immediately like, what? You are a psychopath, first of all.
Yeah.
I just diagnosed him right there as a crazy person. Bringing kids into this dating scenario is very hard. And I know you know this, right? But single moms, they're all washed up and used and bitter and have no value. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh, yeah? Well, sometimes when I hear that, I wonder why that is.
Why they think that?
Why they think that. Because shit men have so-called created that, right?
That's what I think.
That's that's my opinion.
Yeah.
That's created by miserable men who have treated their women like shit, and then they don't want them anymore because they don't want to put up with their shit.
Women make men work harder now than they ever had to in the past. I think that is personally where a lot of the anger comes from, is men finally have to do something more to be invested in a relationship, and men who feel like, oh, I'm a provider, I'm a protector, which I have plenty of videos on. I don't see that as a natural thing. Some men provide and some men protect, but fundamentally it's not like a natural thing. But that's not, even if you're doing that, that's it. That's all you offer is if somebody breaks in, you're going to do something about it and you have money. Do you have any emotional capacity? Are you going to participate in our life? Am I going to do all the chores and all the dishes and I mean, that part's funny because that's not how that works in a relationship at all.
I was going to say, like,
I do everything. God, Jamie, I do everything.
That's why I always get to laugh when you say that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired. I'm doing everything.
I know. I always tell you to
Just
step it up.
Yeah.
Okay, but you actually do so much, so much. But I do appreciate that you remind me sometimes that every time I think that you do, I'm like, you do everything. And you're like, no, I don't do everything.
Actually, I don't.
Yeah.
You do so much. Taking care of the kids. Every morning you're up. They got to go to camp. They got to get ready for school. You cook. You do. That's so much stress that I'm not used to. And I don't have to. I mean, yeah.
That's true. So
that's busy. And
I feel busy.
yeah, I know.
Sometimes I think I'm not
Trust
doing
me,
anything.
I
And then I'm
call-
like, why am I exhausted if I'm not
I call
busy?
you in the morning and I hear it, what's going on, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
When I go back to work, I'm like,
This is calm.
all I got to do, wow, all right.
Yeah.
Man,
I got it easy.
man.
But you do a lot. However, so the kids I typically manage most of. Makes sense given they're mine. However, are they mine? At this point, we're 3 years in as of now.
I would say they're ours.
Yeah. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
They love you.
I love them as my own.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference when you hear people say like, "Oh, I love them like my own." And then I always want to ask, like, what does that mean? Like your own? You have to like, I love them as my own, meaning as if they are my own children, because that's the love that just doesn't. It's not just a word.
It's a feeling.
And they look up. They look up to me. You know.
They do.
And coming from a shitty childhood and shitty parents, never there for me. Even when they were there, they weren't present. And so all of those things that I never had, I get to be there for them because I know what they want, what they're looking for. I come home from work and see the smile on their faces and just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
When Addie screams, "Daddy, hide and seek."
Yeah. It makes it all worth it, all of it. And in the beginning, it was, yeah. I get it where guys are like, they shy away from it if she has 2 kids. For me, it's like, that's a lot of love right there.
That's why it didn't deter you.
No, you know,
Yeah.
those are beautiful little children that, you know, like I said, they're full of love and they need guidance and somebody to look up to. And being a single mother, those 2 children, they're basically your support at that time, right? Because at the end of the day, when it's just the 3 of you, that's it.
Yeah, it was the 3 of us, for a long time, years. And I think, it's scary to meet somebody and like them and then be like, I think I want to introduce this person to my kids. And you hope that you like them, but I was really hoping that they liked you. And what's crazy actually is that we have a photo of the moment that they laid eyes on you. Because I was taking their picture when you came to the park to meet us.
Yeah.
We introduced you as a friend. And just that moment that they laid eyes on you. And I feel like what I see in that photo is curiosity, right? Because they didn't know you yet. But it was 48 hours? And Joe was like, "Mommy," right in front of you.
Yeah, it was the long weekend and we ended up, we were supposed to just be the day. And then that day was like so amazing. And it was like, well, what are you guys doing tomorrow? I mean, it's a long weekend. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah,
what are
you guys wanna
doing?
hang out again?
So there was like, sure. And then it was again. So it
ended up being like a multi-day thing. But Joe was like, "Mommy, it feels amazing when he's with us. Can he stay forever?" Right in front of you. And I'm like, "Oh, this is too fast." It was so awkward. But I remember like agreeing with him. That's the crazy part. I really remember being like, "Can he?" Like way too early to have the conversation. But their love for you has been amazing to watch. And I just, women are convinced that no man's going to want you. Like that really is something that so many men say is like, nobody's going to want you. You're single, used, washed up, bitter, single mom. Nobody's ever going to love you. And it's like, do you know how many stepdads there are in the world?
Yeah.
Like, be so for real. There are so many men that know that we have the best snacks. I have the best snacks. Tell me you're not up in that snack
Definitely.
cupboard.
Yeah, every day I get laughed at at my lunch at work. Like, dude, you got so many snacks. Yeah.
Like, what the
Damn
hell?
right. I got 2 kids at home.
Yeah. Eating those Joe Louis.
Yeah, I eat
Eating
more
those.
too.
It's so true. That is so true. But it's that bitter, like that angry. They just want women to think that there's no love out there. And I even think like part of what inspired this episode is like, look at this man.
I think when
I want people to know that
when you say that,
this is real.
going back to what you just said about is like nobody's gonna want you, nobody's it. And I think again, coming from a man who's done the work on what it takes to become a real man, and not just walk around saying, "Oh, I'm a man," or I don't have to say it, you know. But going back to that, like nobody's gonna want you. I think that a lot of that is projected upon themselves, is what they're saying. Because at the end of the day, if your woman is fed up and she's leaving you, and you're saying nobody's gonna want to be with her, but she's fed up with you. So why don't you go stand in front of a mirror and then just basically say the same shit?
They're talking to
Because
themselves.
you're gonna end up alone. You're gonna end up miserable.
Yeah.
Because if this didn't work and you're not willing to change or make any of it work, relationships, good, healthy relationships, just like anything in life, take work. And it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes being present.
Yeah. But
And if you're not willing as a man, if you're not willing to do all of that, which it's not hard. Just be a man, be yourself, be real. Treat your partner, your woman, your relationship, treat that person how you want to be treated. And if you're that person saying you're never going to be with anybody, nobody's ever going to want you, you're a piece of shit, blah, 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 go stand in front of the mirror. Because the true reality is you're talking to yourself.
Yeah. But it affects us, like
Yeah.
I still remember thinking like, is that true? And I actually,
Of course.
what's
It's
interesting is we talk
understandable,
about women leave men like that, and they leave them and they go get a cat, or they go get a new man, or they choose to be single. But the point is that anything is better than being with a dude that puts you down. And I, again, say the same thing. If you're with a woman who's putting you down, who the hell wants that?
Yeah.
But like, no man would want that. So why would you be the kind of man that puts someone down? Or worse, frankly, the kind of man who's on the internet telling moms that they're going to die alone. And I get told that constantly. So I get told, like I tell you all the time, the comments that I get are wild. But essentially, I'm a man-hating feminist misandrist. And I'm bitter, old, washed up. Can't really catch it all. Haggard, maybe. I can't remember. But, she's so angry. I think a lot of it is righteous anger directed in the exact right place and not in the wrong place. Because as much as I'm known for being a man-hater, what do you think people would be surprised to know about me, given who I appear to be online? If I'm a man-hater, tell me what I do for you. Tell the boys what I do.
Well, you make my lunch, you cook for me, make my dinner. And those aren't things of like demanding like the old school way. Yeah. The funny thing is you saw me make my lunch so one time and you're like,
what are you doing?
Is that how you make your sandwich? And I'm like,
you just slap the meat on.
I've been eating this for sure.
Mine are better.
Yeah, I will agree. Well, when it's made with love, and even I try and make the same sandwich as you, and I take it to work, and I'm like, I don't know, do I not love myself? It don't taste the same, man. How does she make the sandwich the same shit that I put on it? How does it taste different?
It's the love.
Yeah,
it tastes like love. I work really hard on your sandwiches. I get really mad at you if you ever try to make your own. I remember you telling me one of your coworkers, different coworker than this other dude, was like, dude, how do you get her to do that? How do you get your girlfriend to make you sandwiches?
Oh yeah, I remember that. And I think when I came back to him was just a simple question like, what do you mean get her to do it? Like I don't get her to do anything. Like we're 50-50. Like I do things around the house and like the things she doesn't want to do, and I damn sure don't want to make my lunch. So there's no getting him to do it. And then I came at him, not really came at him, but it was reality check, I said, so when you go home, I asked him about his relationship, and I said, so when you're at home and when you're sitting there with your woman, what do you guys do? What does it look like? And he's like, oh, well, we're watching TV and I'm scrolling through my phone. So you're sitting next to her, but you're scrolling on your phone.
Every night.
And then when you look over at her and she's watching TV, So you're not even there.
Like,
You're not present.
Yeah, that's sad.
So why don't you like talk? Put your phone down. Be present. If you're present and you're there and you're doing things, or you simply get up and because if that's your partner, that's your person, you should know what she's thinking. Or if you're sitting there and it's like, I wonder if she'd like another glass of milk, or whatever drink or whatever it is, get up and do that. If you think about it, then go do it. Why is it a problem to go get your partner a drink, but it's not a problem to go get yourself a fucking drink?
Why not offer? I know. You do all kinds of things for me, though. Like when I think about, this man-hating feminist that I make your sandwiches every day and I make your lunch, which, I don't believe in the 5 love languages book, but if I did, my love language would be feeding you. I love to do that. I love to care for you, but that's the reciprocity that I'm talking about, this sort of mutual love and respect and care. And there's
something right there that you said is care. And something that I've learned is there's a huge difference between caring and loving, because to a lot of people, love has become a word, or you can love somebody and not care. And when you truly care about somebody, that person feels the difference. To me, there's a difference, whether you can love and not care. And when you really care about somebody, there's no question about the love.
There's just you just invest emotionally into it.
It's there.
You do so many little things for me. Like there's the big things, like you do the dishes or, say nice things, but Saturday morning and you bring me my favorite tea, I know I don't make my tea at home, even though I absolutely could. And you've said it before, but I have a favorite tea, but you go and you get that and you just like leave it on the counter. You're not even looking for like, look, I brought you a tea. Where's my balloon? Where's my applause? It's just, and you get balloons and applause, metaphorically speaking, because it's given back to you. I feel like you give me the tea, I give you the sandwiches, you do the dishes, I clean the bathroom. There's no scorecard. We just do things. There's just a mutual.
And that's, to me, love is about action too, right? And that's like a silent appreciation, again, back to all the things that you do with the kids and life and general, just all the stuff that I don't want to do.
Makes sense.
So it's like, and yes, it's so simple to say, hey, I appreciate you. But those are words, to just simply do something without saying anything. Not only does it benefit our relationship, but it makes me a better man by doing simple little things like that. And I think that's the big problem is real men, they know what it takes and they're willing to do the work. They're willing to be present. They're willing to show up when the time is needed. They're willing to do what it takes is the bottom line. And these guys that are on the internet, and first of all, don't even get me going on that shit. Because if you are calling yourself a man and you are sitting there.
They usually call themselves alphas.
Great. You know what the first fucking letter of the alphabet starts with? A. Great. So anyway, if you have the time to sit there in your house by yourself, most likely, and sit on the fucking internet bashing people and calling them names, and you've never even met the person, you're just going off of an experience that person has been through, and probably shit ones that you've been through, you are a fucking loser. I'm sorry. You don't even have the right to come and sit and bring. You don't bring nothing to the table. What are you in your little room talking shit on the internet, and then you go out and face your family and your woman and whatever, and you think you're a man?
You put that in a whole different category.
Interesting. That's a whole nother show that we can get into, and I can go on about that funny shit.
So since we're talking about the men on the internet who have lots of things to say, this brings me to the very first little snippet of Real Talk from the comment section, which is a new little segment that I'm doing this season where I read out real comments from comment sections on the internet and see what you think of these. Are you ready?
Quite interesting, I bet.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So, I've had so many. The men have so much to say.
The lonely guy in his basement?
Well, you decide where they live. So
his parents' basement.
Okay. He's never seen these before. Okay. If this woman has a man, he's got to be a simp. Poor guy. She's so bitter. Babe, are you a simp?
A simp. Remind me of what that is again.
Like what they say it is or what it actually is? So what they say it is a guy who is nice to women only for like just to manipulate them and you become like a wuss. Like you pander to women. You just say what women want to hear and you don't really think it. So you're a simp.
Right. So that makes me less of a man and I'm a simp because I treat my woman with respect and I come peacefully and calmly and I want happiness, not
Yeah, a real man wouldn't do that.
fighting.
Only betas do that.
Well, me growing up, the only aggression was a man toward man. I mean, if you bring in that, then
it's wild.
So I'm a simp.
You're a simp. I think it's funny actually, because to me, what I hear whenever I see that is like, you guys, you men, you alpha men, you really crave male validation. Like a lot. You want men to validate you. You want the men to like you.
Yeah, that's
and
why
like,
they talk so loud. I never noticed that.
It's so bizarre. But like,
you need to be heard across the room. Why?
Why are you so loud?
So in my mind, you feel very unheard.
Yes.
So you need to speak as loud as you possibly can to be noticed.
Talking over women specifically. Yeah.
So you need the attention.
Yeah.
Not the woman that you're bitching about, attention seeking, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. But you're the one that's loud and obnoxious and seeking all the attention without. Yeah. But I'm a simp. I love that.
Yeah. Okay. Here's 2 more. Here's the next one. She hates men. She has a man. Does her man know this? Is he okay? Someone should check on him. Are you okay?
Someone should check on him.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Yeah.
How's your sandwiches?
Oh man, I'm living my best life.
Yeah, and yet you're miserable. You're bitter old.
So I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have put a ring on your finger if you were bitter and I came home and just
miserable. Oh, that brings me to the next comment. Imagine having to come home to that every night. This lunatic would scare any man away.
It's funny because my coworkers, I've been around them for a long time, and they had the privilege of meeting
the old you,
the old me, and the old toxic relationships. And that's funny because they all say like, "Man, you're a lucky guy, dude. Like you are one lucky man. You got a beautiful wife and kids at home." Like I remember one guy saying to me like, "Man, did you win the lottery or something?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did. Look at what I get to go home to every day." And they was like, "Well, true enough."
I love that even he could see that though, that like, it's the happiness. It's not literal
money. Years ago. And then since we've been together, I actually had a friend of mine recently tell me that in the past few years that out of anybody he knows, I've leveled up more than anybody. And that's because of the relationship I'm in, the life, the family that we're building, the dreams that we both have, and we're doing what it takes to make it happen. And to all those so-called men out there, I just gotta say, you're getting it all fucking wrong.
Ain't that the truth? I think so too. I actually feel bad for the men who don't see the value in having a good woman and providing, not money, right? But providing care and love and emotion in the relationship to just participate and be with it. And then you get this reciprocal good relationship. It's sad. Like that sort of joke that they're like,
that it goes back generations and generations of this is how it should be. And a man that does this and a woman does this. And it continued on. And then, but nothing changes unless something changes, and if to break that cycle, and it takes change, and to break that cycle of, oh, you must do this to be a man, and this is how the household has to be, and all of that. The household is actually way more stronger if two people are working together, as opposed to one trying to dominate the whole situation and not having a fucking clue as to what really goes on.
Yeah.
And that's where a smart woman comes in.
We know what's going on.
Yeah.
We know what's going on.
You guys hold the shit together that we have no clue.
Yeah.
As much as men like to say we got it all, we know what's going on now. I'm not ashamed to admit. Nope.
But I mean, like, I don't even understand the concept of there being shame to admit in that. I think it's so smart, that there are good men that see this, and like, you're amazing. And something that I think about all the time is I'm raising a son. We're raising a son. And I know that Joe is going to be a good man because he has a good man in his life, and he's watching you, and he watches my brother, and he watches my dad, but you are the one who's here every day showing him and showing our daughter that men do dishes and that men fix broken stuff and men nurture and give medicine and play hide and seek and help you tie your shoes and teach them to wink and all the things that you have done. But what you've shown them is invaluable. Like, you've shown them what it looks like to love their mother. And I feel like I don't even tell you
And those
often
are all
enough.
beautiful gifts that I feel have been given to me, you know, because without you three, there's no family,
Mm.
you know.
You completed it, I feel like
Well,
there's no
I
amount
told you
of.
you were my missing puzzle piece. And I think a lot of people go through their whole life not finding their purpose or not meeting that someone. Or maybe they do meet that someone, but they're not willing to do what it takes. They're not willing to change anything about themselves in order to, like, not to get it twisted for what I said at the beginning. You know, you put on a show and you want to be this, but you can't become something to make somebody else happy. That's not what I mean. I mean, there's certain things that you're gonna do that I'm not gonna like, and there's certain things that I'm gonna do that you don't like. And those are stupid little things. And then if you're not willing to change any of that, then nothing changes unless something changes. And there are good men out there, you know.
I say it all the time.
I'll
Not all
toot my
men.
own horn. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think but living through the toxic life that I was living in and doing all that, at one point in my life, I wouldn't call myself a good man. But those were choices that I was making. You know, you're not born an abusive person. Those you witness it, you grow up around it, and then you make a decision to be like that. You don't have to be, you know. If you want respect, you have to give it. And if you wanted to be treated nicely, well, then you got to treat somebody nicely.
Yeah.
Otherwise, fuck, again, to those shit men out there, just go talk into a mirror, because really deep down inside, you got to do some work on yourself, the pain that's in there for you to be able to even say that shit.
Yeah. The takeaway: good men exist.
Yes.
I've got one right here, and I do hate men, but I don't hate mine. And that's that's what matters. I don't actually hate men, though. That's the joke. I think what's so interesting
Yeah.
is that as a feminist, feminism is about equality. So it actually, feminism helps men and women. So, like, I don't hate men. I want better for everybody. And I want more men to be like this. And, like, come on, don't we all want more men like
I
this?
want more men to be like this, because the world is more beneficial with somebody who wants to be happy and somebody who wants to help somebody, as opposed to just walking around miserable. I wish I knew the actual percentage of the miserable, unhappy people in this world in relationships, because I think to be a good person is harder than it is to just live and be like the rest of the world.
There is a lot of energy, though. So it's good to know that there are healthy relationships. And I think that that was really, like, the key here, is that I wanted people to know that there are plenty of women who have no interest in dating again after abuse. And, like, I completely understand. And I kind of joke, I'm not a dating coach. I don't care what you do. Don't date ever again if you don't want to. But I want people to know that good men exist, and that this is what it looks like, and that you can find something like this if you're really willing to do something in yourself. I know I worked really hard to change parts of me to be ready for a man like you, and I think you would say the same thing. So I'm glad that I finally pinned you down to get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks
Well,
for.
thank you for having me
Yeah,
on your show.
love you.
Again, I love you too. Yeah, I'm honored, actually. I think it's really cool what you do, and helping people, helping women get out of their shithole.
Yep, that's the goal. One by one,
Yeah.
leave those bad men.